Thank you so much. So first of all, thanks for everyone for coming. And this is my third time in Lithuania. Believe it or not, it's one of my favorite countries. And it's crazy, right? Yeah, for real. Yeah, like when I tell people like Lithuania, they're like, wait, what? Yeah, and for some reason, the organizers decide to make this conference in the coldest month of the year. So I'm Mexican, so this is like pretty rough in my skin. You know, Mexico is pretty hot. So let's begin. Today, we're going to be talking about empowering developers, OpenAI SDK, and the future of AI applications. So my name is Patricio Vargas. I go by Pato. If I'm not mistaken, in Lithuanian, it means aunties, right? That makes sense, yeah? Okay, so in Mexico, if your name is Patricio, you go by Pato. It's kind of like Michael, Mike kind of thing. So, you know, they already gave my intro, so I'm not even gonna worry about that. If you want to follow me on Twitter, feel free to do it. If you have any questions, even after the talk, feel free to post them on my Twitter. Don't send me a DM. Just I like to keep the conversation open. That way people can call bullshit on what I'm telling you. Sounds good? Okay, where am I from? I'm from a city called León, which means lion. For some reason, Mexicans like animals, as you can see. And it's in the state of Guanajuato. And it's a big city. We have like 2 million people, but that's literally all we have. That's it. That's, yeah, those two things. Just, I mean, for a big city, we don't really have anything. But I now live in New York City, which obviously we have more than just 2 buildings, as you can see. Hey. And so anyways, if you ever go to New York City, hit me up. I won't give you a tour, but I will tell you where to go. So anyone here knows what AI is? No? Nobody? Oh, we're in the wrong conference, I'll tell you. So basically, AI stands for artificial intelligence. It's like the most searched word right now in the internet of 2023, which is insane. A lot of buzz in it, and basically it's a bunch of if statements in the background that a developer decided to call it AI. That's pretty much what it is, and a lot of algorithms in the computer systems and very expensive computations. That's essentially what it is. If you want to pitch it to your boss, just tell them that, yeah, expensive computations with a lot of if statements. That's it. So with AI, we have a few advantages, right? And a few disadvantages as well. So we're mainly going to focus on the advantages as well. So AI can revolutionize a lot of the industries. Don't think just about tech. It can revolutionize even medicine, right? A lot of doctors are using AI to give a better diagnosis to patients that have certain illness. It can also help you reduce the errors in your task. How many of you guys are a Java developer? Okay, I'm only gonna talk about Java in this context because I know with Java you need a semicolon to compile your code, right? And like, how many times it has happened to you that you forget to put a semicolon and it doesn't run? So AI can help you even avoid those kind of like issues. I don't know if with the new Java versions you don't need a semicolon, but back in the days you actually need one. And it can also help you reduce the cost of your business. Sadly, AI is actually replacing some jobs, but I think in the tech side we're pretty safe, and it can help the company save some money as well. But also, you're gonna have different expenses. So you might save some money on labor, right? But you're gonna have other operational costs that we're gonna talk about. Also, it can help you increase the customer service, right? With a faster response using AI in like a chatbot. In your business, for example, if you have a travel agency, you can integrate a chatbot and make sure that, your customers are getting the response that they actually want. Or even better, as developers, they can make our life easier by even integrating an AI chatbot in the developer docs. And I'm actually gonna show you how to build that. So some disadvantages of AI, some job displacement, as I was telling you. bias and discrimination. It has proven that AI sometimes tends to be a little bit racist. It gives preference to white people. So that's a fact. It has a lack of human qualities. Already as developer, we are not very like humanized, I guess. But with AI, they have struggled to make it feel that the people are talking to a human. Privacy and security concerns. As you know, for AI to be smarter, every time they need data, right? And right now there's a huge issue because you need to basically share your data with AI, and who knows where that data is going. And I know that the EU is struggling with a lot of these laws because they want to prevent your data leaking, but then that's also preventing the AI world to be growing, because if you don't have the data, the AI is never gonna learn. So there's a balance, right? And high initial cost. AI, like I was telling you, is actually very expensive to run. Actually, like even for this presentation, for every time that I run the server is costing me money, and my employer is not paying for it. So, but it's a fact, but it's just costing me a few cents. So also I want to talk about AI tools for developers, right? AI is here to make our job easier. So I don't want you to be scared by AI. Take advantage of it and use it in your daily job. So anyone here has used GitHub Copilot? Less than half of the room. Impressive. So you're missing out. It's basically people are confusing GitHub with a tool that generates code for you. I don't think that's right. Nico is saying hi to me. I think basically what it does, it completes your code, but based on previous existing code that someone in the internet wrote before, right? It does basically auto-completion. So it grabs code from GitHub, Stack Overflow, and other websites, and completes the code that you wanna write. So I'm actually gonna show you how essentially works. So right here, for example, this is a Node.js server. If you're not familiar with Node.js, it's totally fine. I think you will grab the idea of what I'm trying to do. So I'm gonna type app that, and you see that it's already trying to do like some autocomplete for me, right? So I'm gonna do post, and then based on the code that I have in this Node.js server, is trying to do the auto completion for me. So all I have to do is click tab, and actually I'm gonna zoom in so you can see better. And then you see that it's just basically helping me to complete what I want to do. So it's pretty nice. So instead of taking 30 seconds to write a function, maybe it takes you like 5 seconds. So that's what it does, but you still have to check the logic. Don't just click tap, 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 and just call it a day. So it's the same as copy pasting code from Stack Overflow. You know, just always make sure that that's exactly what you want. So Deep Code, this is another cool tool. It helps you analyze your code and find bugs and security vulnerabilities in your code. And also it fixes them for you and creates a PR. So I'm gonna show you how this application works as well. So we're gonna go here. It's by this company called Snick, right? They are a security company. And as you can see, you can connect this tool into your GitHub, and you can select the repositories that you want to scan. And as you can see, just for this talk, I decided to select two applications. And for example, we have this React NFC sample, which actually, fun fact, it was the presentation that I gave last year here at Build Stuff. And I'm just gonna click on it. And as you can see, it tells you the vulnerabilities in, for example, this is my package.json. So it tells you the packages that I'm using in my package.json, and detects the vulnerabilities, and it tells you, hey, this is a high risk, this is super dangerous, blah, blah, blah. And you can click on fix these vulnerabilities, and then it will create a PR for you. Pretty nice. Very simple to use. So definitely take a look to it and take advantage. Cool Climate. I actually hate this this tool, and I'm gonna show you why. Anyone here uses Agile? Okay, for me, Agile is just a pretty way to call micromanagement. That's the reality. I think the product managers, they just like to use that fancy word, but it's just another way to do micromanagement for your developers. And this is a tool from Cool Climate. It's called Velocity. And if you have used Agile before, you're probably very familiar with the velocity concept. And so if you're a project manager, you're probably gonna love this tool. And this tool basically connects to your, for example, if you're using Jira, it's gonna connect to your Jira, and it actually tells you the velocity of your developers connected to the PR on the spot. So you can see if your developers are slacking. I know, right? Like micromanagement to the finest. We love it. So definitely don't use this AI tool. But I just want you to be aware in case your project manager uses it, you know what's happening behind the scenes. So if you're slacking off, make sure to type more code daily. So another very cool tool for developers that is being great for AI applications is TensorFlow and PyTorch. PyTorch is the tool for Python developers and TensorFlow for JavaScript developers. So basically, TensorFlow is an open source library that has a lot of models in the background with machine learning, and it can help you build these awesome applications. For example, if you want to put like some facial recognition, let's say if you want to interact with your website with using your hand and things like that, uses the machine learning models that they have. I'm just telling you about it. I'm not extremely familiar with it, but a good friend of mine wrote that book. I'm not getting commissions from it, but I think I should. But that's the book. If you want to learn about TensorFlow, definitely take a look to it. So Cursor AI. Anyone has used VS Code? Okay, so imagine VS Code 10 times better. Basically, Cursor AI is a pair programming tool, and this okay, I think I'm back. This pair programming tool is integrated already into your VS Code fork, because this is an actual fork. This is not a plugin that you install into VS Code. It's literally a brand new tool that you're gonna download into your system, and you're gonna use it, and it's gonna improve the productivity as a developer, okay? So anyone here has used ChatGPT? That's like only half of the room. Okay, who hasn't used ChatGPT? Only one person? What about the rest? Okay, I need you to pay full attention on this, okay? So ChatGPT is basically a tool that has AI in the background, right? And you can basically tell it to do whatever you want for you, right? If you want to write a contract for a lease, if you want to write a lawsuit for someone, if you want to generate code, it does it for you. Yeah, straight up. I have some apartments in Mexico, and I used it to generate some contracts for me. But I also use it on my daily work to optimize my code. So before I submit my PR, right, I basically grab the code, copy paste it into ChatGPT, and tell it optimize this code. And basically it will make me look smart, right? Instead of like having 3 if statements, maybe just reduce the code into one if statement. So it's pretty cool. Definitely check it out. So this is how it looks like. So like I was telling you, just the chat, right? And then if I go over here, oh no, it's right here. Yeah. So for example, this is a history, right? That someone submitted in a PR, right? And I basically, this is the actual code. And I basically told ChatGPT, hey, optimize this code. And it gave me this result. This is just a tiny sample, but it can do a lot of things for you. You want to generate a React application, it does it for you. So it's pretty nice. The only problem that I have seen is that it doesn't give you sometimes the most accurate results. So once again, always check what it's actually doing. So just to give you some quick context, I needed to translate some PayPal APIs from Node.js into Golang, PHP, and Java. And I haven't touched Java in like 8 years, and Golang and PHP, I pretty much didn't know anything about. So I said, hey, I'm gonna use ChatGPT to do the translation of these Node.js servers into these programming languages. And it did the translation, but it wasn't correct 100%. I wanna say I will give it a 7 out of 10. So I actually had to end up learning Golang and PHP just to make sure that ChatGPT was following the best practices. So keep that in mind. So now we're gonna get into the fun stuff. Has anyone used the OpenAI SDK? It's fun, right? And expensive, right? So awesome. OpenAI, if you don't know, OpenAI is a company behind this whole ChatGPT thing. I think they are like the people who revolutionized the AI in a lot of the industries. AI it's not new. It's not a thing from 2023. It has been existing for over 20 years. But finally, someone decided to make it trendy, and then now it's like the new thing that you need to get. If you want to be a billionaire, you need to get into AI kind of thing. You know, like the same thing with crypto. But actually find a purpose or something useful with AI, not with crypto. If you have money on crypto, kudos to you. I didn't make money. Let's actually take a look to the code that I built using the OpenAI SDK. So basically what I did with the OpenAI SDK, I built a chatbot, right, that helps my developer docs to provide better results to the developers who visit the PayPal website. And I'm gonna show you how some other companies are using it as well. For example, if you go to Norwal is a company that basically built a monorepo product. And I'm just gonna click on get started, and they have an AI chat. And it basically, what it does, it crawls the website and finds more accurate answers in your website first, then the internet for the developers who are visiting the site, right? So it's a more personalized experience. So it's pretty nice. Like I said, NX is using it, Microsoft is using it, PayPal is using it, and many other companies are using it to increase the developer experience as well. So let's actually take a look to the application. I'm gonna refresh this. I just gotta make sure that my servers are running. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So as you can see, it was spinning a little bit because it was generating some images using AI, using a library called DALL-E. DALL-E is a library to generate these AI images, and basically I tell DALL-E what kind of images I want. And since I'm building a chat, you know, just to give it a cooler developer experience and user experience, I decided to generate an image for the AI assistant and me, who I'm the user of the application. So how that looks like. That looks like this. Basically, I'm gonna close this part right here. I have this endpoint called API avatar, and then the most interesting part right here is the prompt. So basically, I'm telling DALL-E to generate a picture of an animal, right? And then I'm telling DALL-E how many pictures I want. In this case, I only want 2. One is for me, and one is for the AI assistant. And then I'm specifying the size. So super simple. And then I make the call to the OpenAI API, buys the request data, and then I'm gonna get what I'm seeing right here, an array with 2 URLs. Fairly simple, right? Like for some reason, I always thought that generating images with AI was like super complex, but it's actually not. And the documentation is actually very clean. If we go over here to the OpenAI reference, you can go to images, right? And then you see this is the URL that you have to use, and it's telling you once again, for example, the size that you want to specify, and then the number of images and the prompt. So they are doing exactly what I'm doing. No problem. Now, let's see. Let's go back again, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send this command that says, "Show me how to use the JavaScript standard SDK in my website." Notice that I'm not specifying which SDK. How many SDKs are out there? Probably millions. I don't even know, right? So I'm just saying, show me how to use the JavaScript standard SDK in my website, and then I'm just gonna click send, and then let it do its thing. And as you can see, here's this AI generated image, super fancy. And then I'm gonna go back over here and I'm gonna explain you basically what is happening. So once again, I have this endpoint called API chat. And as you see, I have this demo model. And this demo model is basically previous conversation that I'm predefining to my chat to train it, right? And I enter some information from the PayPal website. That way it knows to search the PayPal website first, right? Before going to a different website or basically crawl the internet for the response. And then, and as you can see, I'm basically adding every new message to the conversation, right? To the previous conversation that I have right here. And then, I'm specifying which model I want to use. In this case, I'm using the GPT 3.5, but you can change it to different models. They have, for example, the GPT-4 and so on. And as you can see, this is where I'm doing the conjugation of the two conversations. That way, every time I write a new message, the AI knows about my previous messages that I've been sending. So here's the response, right? Show me how to use the JavaScript standard SDK in my website, right? Once again, I didn't specify which SDK, and now it knows that I'm talking about the PayPal SDK because I trained my model to know and talk about the PayPal SDK, and it gave me full instructions on how to integrate it. So super nice, very simple to use. Once again, you don't have to use 100% just for increasing the developer experience. You can use it in basically any website. There's always a way to find a way to incorporate AI into your application, right? But in this case, since we're developers and people forget about us all the time, I decided to show you how to increase the developer experience. So pretty cool now, I think. And then, for example, I can type how to style the buttons, and then just click send. And then in the meantime, it takes a little bit to generate the response. Just keep that in mind. I'm also gonna show you something that is extremely important in my personal point of view, because I was trying to debug that issue, and that is let's go to settings, billing, right? So I put literally this morning, right before my talk, I put $12. And now it's at $11.70. And how many calls I made? Like 3, 4, right? So you can see it's actually very pricey, so keep that in mind. The cool thing about OpenAI is that they try to be ethic, right? And they're not gonna take your money like AWS and Azure, that you never know how your bill is gonna come. If you go for AWS and Azure, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Like, you never know how your bill is gonna hit you. I have been hit with a bill from $1,400 from AWS. I don't even know how. Yeah, literally from having a cluster running in Madagascar, and like, you know, like, who knows? So keep that in mind. Another cool thing is that, let's go back, is that you can actually upload your model, right? Basically the conversation that you saw that I was generating, you can actually upload it into the OpenAI cloud, right? You can create your fine-tuning job, and basically it's gonna generate this ID right here, right? And this ID is gonna be used, for example, I'm just gonna show you where you're gonna have to put it. You're gonna use it in this part right here where it says model. So you're gonna, since you're gonna have your custom model, you're gonna put it in there. Sounds good? And then let's see. So this was done already. So how to install your PayPal buttons, and it gave me the answer once again how to do it. So I think that was pretty nice. Let's see. Where's the? Yes. Someone said something? No? Okay. And then I want to show you the part of chats, right? So once again, this is the API that I use for, actually it wasn't this one right here. It was, yeah, this one right here. So you can use the chat for auto completion and create the conversation that you want, right? Once again, all you have to do is basically use an endpoint or use the OpenAI SDK that they have for you. So in this code sample that I have right here, I use the API and the SDK reference just to give you an idea, because let's say if you're a Java developer, I don't think they have an SDK, right? So, but maybe you still want to use the OpenAI. So all you have to do is make the API calls to the endpoint and you'll be good. But if you want to use the OpenAI SDK, as you can see, I'm using it right here. I'm creating a new instance of it. I'm passing my API key, and then I'm using it to generate a conversation over here. I'm actually not using the API endpoint. Sounds good? So, any questions? No? Everything was good? Okay, you have a question. Yeah. Okay.
The answer is obvious, but just for the sake of it, the user is free to continue asking your application whatever he wants about, okay, he gets the styling for the buttons, but then he can also ask for a good restaurant in Mexico.
Yeah, it will answer that question for you, actually.
That's maybe, you know, something that you don't have a way to limit the context.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, microphone, unfortunately.
Thank you. My question is about this general RIG implementation, retrieval augmented generation. Whatever you are showing is the same approach you're using. And OpenAI currently also, they announced the Assistant API.
The Assistant API.
Yeah, lots of discussion going on, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about this in this use case? Like, is it you think like still you should use RIG approach, or maybe for the future implementation like more Assistant APIs? Because it's offering many powerful. Like,
that's a great question. So basically, if you didn't hear, he's talking about this new API implementation for the assistant that just was released. Like the OpenAI had a conference like a few days ago, but I don't have an answer because I haven't tested because it just came out. But basically, just to give you some context, you can specify right here in the conversation what kind of role is being taken in the conversation. So as you can see, user supposed to be me, the person entering the questions and all that, and the assistant is basically the AI that is replying to the questions that I have. But this is different than what he's talking about. He's talking about literally an API that I'm not familiar with because it just came out, just to be honest. Any more questions? Nico, what's up?
Yeah, I've seen in the context you have some links to the developer PayPal, I think it's documentation. Is the ChatGPT SDK, or are they actually opening up the documents and then they will go through the documents to scan for the answer? Or is that more of a reference to say, hey, we are talking about the PayPal and maybe you have already...
It's a reference, yes. But let me see.
So if you change something in the documents, will that be reflected in the answer as well? Or will it take some time until maybe the model is regenerated? Or
No. It will find the
Okay.
yeah. But also, let me see if I can find it, just because I don't have it like in front of me. Let's see. It was scroll. Let's see, maybe. Okay, there's also a tutorial on how to do web crawling using AI and Python. I don't think there's one for Node.js, but definitely take a look at this as well. I think this is gonna give you like more accurate answers as well.
You show a little demo, you know, how it works, and did you use this in production and how you control the cost? Because if I decide to run even a little load test on your endpoint,
Yeah.
it can explode, I guess.
Yeah,
in cost.
great question. So, like I was telling you, with where's this website? Okay, hold on. If we go to settings, limits, you can actually set the limits right here. Right, so like I was telling you, like it's not gonna go over what your budget is. The problem is what happens if you have a lot of developers coming or users coming to your website and you set a limit of $120 a month, but actually needs to add more, right? So there's a way to basically auto add credit to your, I think it's over here, billing, yeah. So do like auto recharge. So basically, if you are done with the $12 that I put, it's gonna recharge it again. But that's something that you have to specify. As you can see, I have it off, but you can specify it on. That really depends on the business needs and the budget that you have. Now, yes, we're using that right now. We're literally gonna launch the search functionality on the PayPal developer docs like pretty soon. Like the implementation is almost there. I didn't take a look on how the cost is gonna be because that's not my thing, but I definitely took a look into the implementation, and like I was telling you, a lot of different companies are using the OpenAI to integrate chatbots to increase the developer experience. Anyone else? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we still have time. Yeah.
Thank you. About it's the question is follow up. Like we are facing a lot of problems with productionizing LLM application. The same with Visio application because OpenAI doesn't provide SLA. You never know when your answer comes, and because there's no what time it takes on average. They don't offer this one. Is there any SDK provide some retry mechanism or any resiliency design patterns that if fails request, retry again, if the same answer is coming to reduce the cost to not to go to OpenAI again and maybe use a cached response?
I mean, at this point, I think probably Nico can assist me with this because he knows about web technologies a lot. I think all you can do is do caching.
All right.
To be honest, like just do cache and put it in your browser, and then use service workers, and that will help you a lot with reducing cost. And also, if you use service workers, they're not only gonna help you reduce cost, calling in the OpenAI. I think literally you can use service workers to reduce any cost of server calls, including calls to your Lambda functions that you have in AWS.
Makes sense. Yeah. Thanks.
If you came to my first talk 3 years ago, I talked about service workers. Fun fact.
I have a question about, is there any production-ready model available that doesn't send your data to US or anywhere else, so you can self-host it and use it to yeah, basically use it in production. So something which is not as weak as Ollama, but it's not also a GPT, which is basically will send your data to outside of your country. So something that you can self-host and be able to use.
That's a great question. I actually don't know the answer, but I would love to take a look to that, especially I know that here in the EU, you guys have a lot of regulations, but that's a good one. Like I'll take a look to that. That's interesting.
Hi. Is there some kind of industry standard API? Because we are self-hosting, let's say, on Azure OpenAPI where services. We also self-hosting on AWS, some LLMs and so on, and we try to expose them to using some industry standard API. And is there some industry standard API, or there is some preference in industry? I don't know.
So your question was if there was an industry standard API for what?
For communicating with AI. Let's say there is industry standard open API description standard and so on.
So you're talking about like the prompts?
Yeah, so we would like to expose all these AIs internally through some common API, and of course it would be best to use something that is standard for
So I don't know if I'm understanding your question, but I think what you're asking me is if there's a standard way of using the OpenAI SDK.
Well, OpenAI, I understand it has its own, but maybe there is all AIs are using some common API. I don't know.
Okay. Oof. I actually don't know because there's like millions of AI tools. I don't know if they're using something in common. I know for a fact that a lot of AI tools are using OpenAI in the background. Yeah.
I might be able to answer this question. So the OpenAI's API is kind of proprietary API. But there's an open like framework to build LLM-powered applications, which is called LangChain. And LangChain has like this model I/O pattern in which they kind of abstract away different models, and then you could just use the GPT models, but you could use like other open models, for example, and it's very simple actually. You can just like replace the model and it's still working.
But there's not like a defined API that everybody uses. But OpenAI is like probably one of the most common ones that people use in the background. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
I'm ready to go eat, so last question. I'm kidding. Yeah, there you go. Did you find your answer? No? I thought that you did because you have the phone.
I just read an article this morning that LangChain is not production ready. So I don't know whether my question is to the speaker or to the previous commenter. So is there any production ready alternative to LangChain? Maybe.
To LangChain? Oh, I mean, you probably know. Hey, come over here. Come over here. Yeah. Come here. Hey, so the camera can see you. Yeah.
Sorry. No, I don't think there's a production-ready alternative to LangChain. I would say like LangChain. I mean, maybe it's not there yet in every part, but I would say it's like the most used framework for this. So I would say it can be used in, and it is used in production applications. So I would not really agree that it's not production ready yet.
Lang. Okay, I was about to say this guy is talking about crypto.
Okay, and the last question. Okay, remark.
sorry, it's we are converting this session to panel discussion, but the LangChain is good. Yeah, I agree with you. But there are a lot of competitors now around the market. They are now competing which the solution gonna be more like speeding up development. And for the enterprises AI, I know one, Microsoft AutoGen. It is more powerful than LangChain in terms of GitHub stars also. I'm not promoting Auto again, but it's still like LLM index because there is a choice, a lot of options for companies now. It's your choice. You need to choose one and then try. But LangChain, who is using it, I'm listening to them, their stories, they are failing, but they're testing another. Maybe they're using combination of 2 or 3 frameworks nowadays. This may be my answer who Zeus asking, like, there's no solution yet. Like API management, for example, to kind of build and merge multiple APIs into one API management. We are still waiting. Let's see the future.
So someone said that LangChain doesn't have production-ready apps, right? That's kind of funny because it's pretty ironic right here. But anyways, any more questions or we call it a day? Or we continue the discussion? That's it? Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna share this with y'all.
Thank you very much for Patricio Vargas. As one of the participants noticed, when the presentation
I'm gonna
turns
take a quick
into panel
picture
discussion,
so my boss knows that I actually came on work, if you guys don't mind.